What got me into music? My parents would probably say that it was reruns of the show Happy Days, which used to play in syndication a lot when I was little. And apparently when I was 3 or 4 years old, no matter what was happening in my day, I would drop what I was doing and run to the TV to dance every time I heard either Rocker Around the Clock by Bill Haley and the Comets or the second Happy Days theme song, which I think is just called the Happy Days theme. So I have to think that was an early influence in steering me towards rock and roll. And then my pops was always playing his records, you know, the beginnings of rock and roll, Buddy Holly, Eddie Cochran, Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley. And I think that when you hear those things over and over again, they just kind of bleed into you. So I'm thankful that those things have kind of made it out in a way in the music I'm making now. And those are probably two of the biggest reasons. You know, my grandfather and my grandmother both played the organ. My pops played clarinet and B-flat and E-flat clarinet in high school, marching and concert band. My mom played a little bit of piano. So there was always music around too. And even if they didn't encourage me to play rock and roll, I was always encouraged to make music. On the water or being near the woods and the water. There's a song on our new album, This Is the Is, which is actually, I mean, it's directly from the redwoods of Northern California, northern Mendocino, southern Humboldt County, and Humboldt Redwood State Park. And I had just stopped, I'm not even sure why, and walked out into this grove and was in between these 4 giant ancient trees and started hearing these words in my head. This is the is, the everything, the songs we sing and all we bring. And as I got through a line, I heard another line. And pretty soon I had 2 verses there and I had a whole song. And I was home then from California about 2 weeks later, and I was on the phone and I was like, hey, I gotta go, I hear this music. And the music went with those words, and that became This Is the Is. So I would say, yeah, being in nature, especially near the ancient forests and the places that have always been, really inspires me. And I also find a lot of inspiration through emotions passing through my personal filter, I guess, if you will. Those are probably 2 of the biggest inspirations beyond music itself. What 3 things do I wish I had known before I started performing? I would say 1, bring a backup instrument. I mean, as a guitar player, that's pretty easy. If you're a drummer or a keyboard player, it's not as easy, but I mean, if you can have a backup, bring a backup. Extra sticks, drum heads, strings, whatever you need, because if you break a string or your gear goes down, that could be the end of the show, and that's certainly not what you want to happen. So that took a while to learn. And now I always have a second guitar just in case. I would say 2, give yourself extra time to get to the gig, because there's things you can't possibly imagine, like driving uphill slowly towards Colorado through Nebraska in a van with a trailer, and it says it takes 8 hours, and then you realize that's based on 80 miles per hour and you can only go 55 in the van and the trailer, so you roll in 11 hours later. Always give yourself extra time to get to the gig. And I would say if you're at a venue that is going to give you free alcoholic beverages, know that there's a fine line between liquid courage and total inebriation, and it's not making the music any better. So, you know, it's probably not the best thing to drink too many alcoholic beverages before your performance. FlyLiteGemini hasn't had a lot of opportunity to tour yet as a band together. I mean, we've played some shows on the road in Michigan, and I've done a little solo touring on the West Coast, but the last band that Sam and I were in, Flypaper, toured a lot. I think we did 185 shows one year. But the summer before Sam was in that band, we were going from Southern Oregon to Northern California, and we were headed to this campground, and there were no campsites available. I suggested going downhill towards the next gig, but everybody else, who had been a little tipsy at the brewing company gig we had just played, wanted to go up the mountain into the forest. So here we are, going up Mount Shasta in the middle of the night, looking for a Forest Service road we can pull off onto camp. And everybody's like, turn left, turn right, turn left, turn right. So finally I turned on a road I thought was a Forest Service road, and I saw this sign, which I really should have paid more attention to, because as we drove along this road, we came out of the forest and found ourselves on the side of Mount Shasta on this single track that's getting narrower and narrower to the point where I'm like, this is not a road. So on one of the switchbacks, we stopped, we took the trailer off, I drove out of the band's site and 3-point turned it to turn around on the side of the volcano. We came back to pick up the trailer. I asked the band, who had very short-term memories at this point, to just lean on the trailer while I lifted up the hitch. They forgot by the time I turned around, so the trailer slammed into the van, dislocated my finger, cut my hand open, blood's pouring out, can't move my finger. This is the second week of a 7-week tour. Anyways, got in the van, took a couple minutes, we got the trailer on, I popped my finger back into place, we started on our way, and as we're leaving the forest, the way we came, I saw that sign and it said no motorized vehicles, cross-country ski trail. So we drove a Dodge Caravan with a trailer up the side of a volcano at like 2 in the morning on a cross-country ski trail. That's pretty crazy. So we've been working on our new album, Time and Space. The audio is done. It was mastered at La Luna Recording and Sound in Kalamazoo, recorded at Third Coast Recording in Grand Haven, and now it's sitting in the queue at Third Man Pressing in Detroit, ready to be pressed on vinyl. So we're working on bringing the album art together, finalizing the cover art, typing out the liner notes, just putting this double vinyl together, which is really exciting because we've never had a vinyl album, or a record put onto vinyl rather. And other than that, we're spending time with Dan Hildebrandt, who's our new bass player, to make sure he's up to speed on the other half of our catalog. I think he's got about 2 hours worth of songs right now, and we have closer to 4 hours of material. So we're going to be working with him this fall to get him up to speed for next festival season, and we're hoping to do a live recording next year with him so that he's represented in the band's sound and catalog. And yeah, that's what we got going right now.